Hey everybody, this is Erica from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Um, Listen, before I start, I just wanted to say that I noticed that a lot of the channels that do this kind of work, it feels like are kind of being suppressed, I'll call it. I'll call it. I guess it's part of that, um, you know, nationwide suppression of free speech. So you might want to make sure that you're still subscribed. If you thought you were, make sure that you are. If you're not subscribed, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. I would love it if you give a thumbs up on the video or, hit the heart. Um, that's really helpful. If you hype and all of that. It's the kind of people have said, I was looking for your videos. Have you been away? Well, no, I'm still here. I'm here about 4 times a week. But I have noticed some suppression, I feel like. So I'm also looking into alternative platforms. I'm already, as you know, on Substack, but I'm looking for alternative platforms. So should the ultimate penalty happen and I get thrown off for some reason, I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything untoward, but I guess the standard is not that high for what is considered bad behavior on the part of people who do this kind of predictive work. Um, so when I figured out what I want to do in terms of an extra platform, I will let you know so that we do not lose touch. But for now, I am here. I'm also on Substack. There's a little bit of suppression on Substack as well for people who do divination work, I think. So just be on the lookout for that. And again, if you thought you were subscribed, make sure that you are. I'm appreciative of everything you all do for me. The comments are great, and they make the case to YouTube that the channel is valuable. Thank you yesterday for everybody who came to the live. That was so much fun for me because your questions were really, really good. And so I think I'm going to do this periodically on a Sunday, come on and do a live and maybe every other week or so, and then let you ask me your world and national questions. And we can be a community and look at them together. I want to remind you that I am the author of The Language of Lenormand. If you are interested in the system I read and you want to learn to read the way that I do, this is the book. This is the book in French. Découvrez le langage secret du Lenormand. So, yeah, anywhere books are sold, you can access the book. The deck that I use is my own deck. And if you click the link, you can get that deck through La Panthère Studio. If you are watching from overseas, for example, Europe, just put it in the comments or send me an email, and I will let you know how you can access my book. I have a French distributor who um, distributes all over Europe as well. Um, I thought today what I would do is something a little bit different, just for, to be different. And I wanted to look at the week. I'm not going to count today. We already know what's gone on today. So now we've got the cold people, the frigid people in the airports. I guess I should use more code words so that I don't get dinged, but okay. So you all know who I'm talking about, who are meant to not wear masks, apparently. The felon says, don't wear masks in the airports. Just wear them in the streets and when you're going to go in somebody's house. Makes no damn sense. So it is the disaster that I thought it would be. This will be a short-lived exercise, I suspect. I did hear some trivia from Aaron Parnas. If you're not following him on Substack or YouTube, you should. Aaron Parnas, Parnas, he's an independent journalist and he does yeoman's work. But he said that on Saturday, no, on Friday, a woman, just like a regular American, called into a Fox station and suggested that the way to deal with the TSA issue, of course, being that fact that the TSA agents are not being paid um, while the government hammers out um, whether to continue to fund ICE and fund them, train them, whatever. The money is being held up, as you know, so they're not being paid. And she was the one who came up with this bright idea to um, to put the cold people in there. Uh, and so that was Friday afternoon. Saturday afternoon is when the felon decides to announce that this is what he's going to do. And he said that he thought it up, that anybody would have thought it up, but he happened to be the one who thought it up. No, he didn't. Allegedly, he stole it from the woman, stole the idea from the woman. But the point is that the idea is not a good one. And he is going to find that out. So that will be a taco move. We know that there's been another taco move. Everyone was worried about the fact that the felon had given a 48-hour deadline and said that he was going to attack Iran if they didn't get out of the Straits of Hormuz or didn't open it up or whatever. Well, anyway, um, now he has tacoed that, taken that one back. Uh, the felon always chickens out. That's the acronym. Um, so that's not a surprise. I expect him to do the same thing on TSA. Speaking of, though, he has now said that he was given an off ramp. Uh, this was a Republican-backed plan. Both sides of the aisle agreed. And what it would have done is it would have let the hammering out of what to do with ICE continue at its own pace, but that in the meantime, it would have funded TSA, FEMA, and the Coast Guard in the interim. And the felon said, nah, son, we're not doing that. No. He said, what I want to have happen is the only way that I will get off the dime is if you pass the SAVE Act. And we know that the SAVE Act is the act that would disenfranchise voters. So hopefully the Democrats will um, stand on business and stand on principle and not back down and just let whatever's going to happen at the airports happen. Um, it's a mess and it will continue to be a mess. Photographers, the press, uh, citizen journalists, as well as other mainstream photographers, are photographing TSA agents. Because remember, the felon says that they shouldn't wear masks in the airport. So they, obedient servants of his that they are not wearing masks. And so journalists are photographing them and they are flipping out over that because, of course, that's why they wear those face coverings. They don't want to be identified. So no one is happy with how this situation is going. I expect he will have to take it back and, go from there. Meanwhile, back on the Iran front, the felon has said that, well, there were some very positive talks that have gone on between our side and their side. And, he sees this whole thing being wrapped up, today, any minute. And the Iranians say there are no talks going on between anybody and anybody. There's no talks. So, of course, he is a mendacious person, we'll say, the felon, not wedded to truth and honesty. And that's just another example of it. But he's really being backed against the wall. So I thought what I would do is I pulled a card, not for today, because, today's just about over and we all know what's going on today. But I pulled a tarot card for Tuesday, a card for Wednesday, card for Thursday, card for Friday, and then I pulled a single card for the weekend. And I thought what I would do is show you those cards, but first clarify them. So with Lenormand, of course. So um, let me pull on the first card. So this first card is for Tuesday. How will our collective Tuesday go? And when I say collective Tuesday, you know, the felon is part of the collective. Hate to say it, wish it weren't so, but he is. So we're including him here. So how will our Tuesday go? So I'm just gonna, well, just pull him. Okay. So for Tuesday, the card that I have, and this is from the Tarot of the Abyss, my new passion. I think it's a great tarot deck. This is the Devil. So, you know, if you know tarot at all, there are different artists portray it differently, but I find this really interesting because look at this person, all tied up, but wings that are free. And the devil The devil is in a prison or puts us in a prison of our own minds. They are not as powerful as they would lead us to believe that they are, but their one power, their one true power, is making us believe that we ourselves are disempowered, are powerless. So the cards that I'm clarifying this devil card with are the coffin, the dog, and the anchor. So I'm going to say that this card represents, I don't know why I was called to remind us that the felon is part of the collective, but now I know why. I didn't know why, but now I know why. He is a prisoner of his own mind, but we have become prisoners of his mind as well, because his mind dictates what comes out of his mouth, and his mouth, um, you know, issues directives that have an effect on all of us. So that's on the one hand, but you know, so this is him, but this is also us, and we are exhausted. We are exhausted. By the way, so is he. And on top of it, he's not well. But this is, again, for him and for us, we are all just exhausted. I'm looking at my eyes and I see bags under them, so I can tell I'm tired. So nobody needs to tell me, I can see it, but still happy to be here with you all. So we're really tired. This is a time when we need to lean on friends and stay the course. So this is for tomorrow, for Tuesday. You know, you'll wake up in the morning and you'll reach for your phone and it'll be the latest iteration of whatever it is that he's done. And so we need to lean on each other and stay the course. And, you know, I don't know, I feel like acknowledge our tiredness, maybe go to bed early tonight. And tomorrow night, because this is the card for tomorrow. So, to whatever degree you can sleep in or go to bed early tonight, that would be all to the good. Um, the second card, this is for Wednesday, and we have the Three of Swords. Now, swords, if you're not familiar with tarot, are all about the mind, right? And our thoughts. And, you know, so we have someone, a woman, uh, and these thoughts come in the form of birds. There's the three swords. And notice that there's a hole right there that that bird popped out of. And sometimes, again, as a result of how we will feel tomorrow, which is as a result of what we feel today, which is a result of how we have felt last week or over the weekend. This is a card of um, pain that needs to be what? Released. So that's for Wednesday. So let's see what the Lenormand gives us. Yeah, it's another day of, so this is the card, this is the Three of Swords. The traditional version has a heart that is pierced by the three swords. Here, that bird just popped right out of her heart. Sometimes we need to let our sorrows go. Clarifiers are the star, the scales, and the fish. We do have a future. We came here for a reason to help a new future be born. Scales, it's important, again, like I said about tomorrow, Tuesday, for Wednesday, to pace yourself, to be a good steward of your emotions, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Now, for him, he's part of the collective. He is really, as a narcissist, he has a hard time understanding why everybody doesn't love him, why he doesn't meet with applause every time he, takes a step. This is like a narcissistic wound, the blowback that he's getting. And he's also getting blowback now from more and more Republicans. On the other hand, he's got a Supreme Court who are saying, yeah, maybe we shouldn't let people's votes come in over time. Maybe if they're not in by Tuesday of election day, then that's it. They're not going to count. Well, again, this will disenfranchise a lot of people, including a lot of Americans who vote overseas, which includes service people. Just saying. So he's getting a lot of blowback and he's feeling the pain of it. He is feeling the pain of it. Now, it looks so far like this is a difficult week. That's not a surprise, right? What with the devil, what with the Three of Swords, Tuesday and Wednesday. Well, now we're moving on to Thursday and we have the Nine of Swords. Traditionally, this is called the nightmare card. Now, the thing about nightmares, these are again swords, right? So swords are just thoughts. I always say that about the cloud card. Clouds are just thoughts, but thoughts can become things if we give them power. And so, to whatever degree you're saying, oh my God, all is lost. I had somebody on the video yesterday asking my opinion, should all people who are disenfranchised, like, I don't know, people of color, disabled people, LGBTQ plus people, should they all emigrate? And I'm like, I mean, some will, but is that the response? I mean, to run? Um, this is just our thoughts, but let's see what the clarifiers are. This is for Thursday. Okay, so you know how the expression is darkness may spend the night and joy comes in the morning. We have to make sure that joy comes in the morning. We will wake up, the sun will have risen, the birds will be singing, the cars will be honking, life will still go on. And I think that we are being asked to be hopeful because we've got the bouquet and then we've got the stork. Listen, the harder things get, and I know this sounds weird, but I think it's true. The harder things get, the more people wake up. And the more people wake up, the more of a nightmare experience the felon will have. So I just think it's about realizing the sun comes up every morning, to realize that this trouble don't last always and the end is near. That doesn't mean it's tomorrow or next week, by the way, but things will improve. Now, Friday, we have the Queen of Swords. I've always thought of her as um, my card. In the among the court cards. Uh, so again, we have swords. We've got a lot of swords in this these tarot cards. They are there's I think, yeah. Three out of the five cards that I've pulled are swords, which is interesting because it tells us that it's more about our thoughts than about anything momentous and huge actually happening of a negative nature. It's more what we worry about or what we anticipate. And, the Queen of Swords' job is to speak truth to people, and speak truth to power. And that's not always fun. Um, it's not always something that she wants to do, but it's the thing that she's called to do. And you can see that light up there. That's the light of awareness. So again, when you're trying to think of, well, what good thing can come out of all of this, more people are waking up. Every moment of every day, more people are waking up. So I'll pull clarifiers for this Queen of Swords card. This is for Friday. Okay, so this is the Queen of Swords, and the clarifiers are the Rider, Clover, and then Mice. So, be of good courage, tell yourself the truth, allow yourself to hear the truth and receive the truth. This is the card for messages, news coming in. Pay attention and be willing to listen to hard truths. For example, I posted reposted a piece that someone had written about No King's Day, which will be, of course, over this weekend. And I thought that it was a really good piece because, one of the things she said is, you know, and I've said this before myself, during Vietnam, during the civil rights era, there was no such thing as you protest from 12 to 2. What? And you do it on a weekend so that it's convenient for people. I mean, I just find that bizarre, frankly, and I'm not sure why so few other people seem to find it as bizarre as it really is. If you remember that era, in the era of Vietnam and in the civil rights era, the object of the game was to create inconvenience. There was no start time and finish time. So then people will say things to me like, oh, yeah, no, but we need permits and we can't park. So we won't be allowed to protest if we don't get these permits and we don't. A permit? I mean, I get it. I understand. I know that's a thing. But I just think we've gotten a little soft. I really, truly do. And so this article gave a bunch of suggestions that I thought were really good that would really put the screws to the people that we're trying to put the screws to. Um, well, anyway, I think that on Friday night and Friday, the excitement is going to build because No King's Day is over the weekend, and that people will be both excited and nervous. I think there will be a lot of people out. I don't know how many Black people are going to be out because I won't be there for reasons which I have detailed ad nauseum here. Drinking my water and minding my business. That's what I'll be doing. I'm not going to be coerced to be in the front of any movement that um, to date has not put Black people first. But anyway, that's just me. But I think people will be excited and anxious at the same time. That's perfectly appropriate. And I think it's also perfectly appropriate, therefore, that at the head of the line, we have the Queen of Swords. Listen to leaders who are wise and strategic. Take heed of what they have to say. I'll try to link that article that I thought was so good from Substack if I can figure out how to do it. Um, it's worth reading. It's worth having conversations about it. You don't have to agree with her or me, but you want to be aware and awake and not naive and asleep because that's what they count on you being. Now, what's really interesting to me is the card. I pulled one card for the weekend just because, it's the weekend. And after all of these swords and that devil, what did we get? The Nine of Cups. This is great. Nine of Cups is known, traditionally as the wish card. And I think it really does. It's very interesting to bookmark it with the very first tarot card, which is the devil. You know, what you wish is the thing that comes to the fore. What you worry about, though, can also be the thing that comes to the fore. So we have a decision to make. Are we gonna be what he wants us to be? Afraid, anxious, worried, defeated? Or are we gonna say, no, I have a vision for a new heaven and a new earth, and I'm gonna do everything I can to bring that about. If you're going to the protest, let that be your way of bringing about the new heaven and new earth. The work that I do here and in my writing on Substack is part of how I help bring about a new heaven and a new earth. But we have to be smart. Listen to the Queen of Swords, who will tell us truths we do not want to hear, but we need to hear them. Otherwise, we stay asleep. And that devil wins. And we stay stuck uh, I don't think the cards up. We stay stuck in a nightmare of heartache. And that doesn't serve anybody's anything. So that last card is the Nine of Cups, the Wish card. So I think the weekend will be good. I think a lot of people will come out for No King's Day. I'm hoping that people will again take that Queen of Swords time to assess, well, what worked well in this protest? What could have worked better? What is our next thing that we're going to do? Can we agree that it's not going to be from 10 to 2 or 12 to 2 or whatever it is? Are we willing to do the equivalent of a general walkout or a general strike without coming up with 10,000 excuses and reasons why that's inconvenient? You know, the Queen of Wands has answers to make this wish card a reality. So let's look and see what do we get for the wish card. Yeah. So here again is this wish card. We have the scythe, we have the fox, and we have the moon. So I love the scythe here because we get to decide which one we're going to listen to, the devil or the wish card. You know, the the way the felon wants to take us or the more perfect union that we desire. We get to decide that. And we don't decide it only by wishing it, but wishes have to become actions, right? And then we have the fox. Sometimes I like this card, sometimes I don't. Here, I think it's taking on two different meanings. There are a lot of people trying to snow us, cow us, um, uh, rip us off, rip us off from our democracy, right? But the fox is smart and discerning. For example, he has sense enough to listen to the Queen of Swords and wise counsel because the fox knows that it is a people who get to decide who it is they want to be. And every time we come up with an excuse for why something is convenient and why we can't show up or why we don't want to hear it anymore or why just wake me up when this is all over. Well, we're making a choice, we're making a decision, and we're choosing to be controlled. So I think that the weekend will be very uplifting. Um, Again, I think it's important to remember you're not going to a block party. The felon needs to feel the fury of people. And people who go out there and protest need to be respectful and understanding of why Black people are going to watch from the sidelines. It's not that we're not doing our work. We have always done our work and will always continue to do our work. But we're also not going to be cannon fodder. That's somebody else's job. We didn't bring him into office. So, you know, uh, 92% of us knew what was what. And if you are white and you're saying, well, I voted for her too. Okay, well, did your sister? Did your mother? Did your uncle? Did your cousin? Oh, you don't know. You didn't talk to them about it? Because, we don't talk politics and religion. Well, there you go. There you go. Uh, Wise counsel is what we don't want to hear, but wise counsel says that white people listen to white people. That's just a fact. And so there are lots of ways that you can bring about this new heaven and this new earth, this this wherever the card went, Nine of Cups. But it's not going to come without sacrifice, without pain, without people's feelings getting hurt. Um, we didn't get here yesterday. We've been here since what, the 1600s. So, if we want something better and newer and different, we get to decide who it is we want to be. We get to decide that. That's safe. So I guess the message is be of good courage. Know that the felon is suffering. I mean, truly suffering. He looks like the liar that he is. And the worse he looks, the harder he's going to punch. And our job is to stay standing. I don't know if some of you will remember my brothers and I, when we were little, we had this clown. And I think it was a blow up clown. And, it was about our height. And you could push it, you could knock it down, and it would pop right back up. We have to be like that clown. He's going to punch and punch and punch and try to demoralize and depress and disenfranchise. The harder things are for him, the harder he's going to try to make them for us. So the harder things feel, the consolation should be, oh, he must be really feeling it because he really wants us to feel it. Darkness spends the night, joy comes in the morning, but only if that's what we decide with that scythe. That's what we want to have happen. So I know I sound a little preachy. That's okay. Um, it's my little pep talk, and I will Tomorrow I'll be writing on Substack, so you can go over there if you'd like to see what I'm doing. Um, just look for my name or look for it in the company of cards. And then Wednesday night, I will be here with Lena from Lena Down Under. If you're not following her channel, you should. She's a great Australian tarotist and sociologist, and we come together every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific. So that's 9 p.m. Eastern, and we don't read cards. We just have a conversation. She has her perspective, which is, an Australian perspective. I'm an American. She's white. I'm black. But we are two women of a certain age, and I think that we have a good take on things, and we also want to model for people how you can have these conversations, how you can talk to each other, because there's not enough of that going around. All right, everybody. I'll see you soon. I'll see you Wednesday night. And until then, have a great Tuesday. Take care.